Oh, and now I'm on the big screen because I'm huddling.
That's.
Never gonna make
Jonathan, did you walk over today? How is it out there?
I haven't switched. my phone messages.
the nicest way ever.
Just a few years ago.
Gosh, if I had a scarf, I'd have to put it on.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Billy, Billy, does anyone have a scarf there?
Like, all of a sudden, I'm chilled to the bone. Like, holy moly.
I have a blanket in the back of my car,
I might.
Oh,
which is probably quite
You up
cold
on
too
that.
right
yeah,
now.
it's gonna be too cold.
I should have stocked.
I think much better when I'm warm.
Sure. Run some circles. I'm freezing all of a sudden. Leave me alone.
Hands up, pocket.
Not be connected to the internet.
Hopefully you might empty the pockets on the pen.
Oh, I think I do.
That's
You
right.
need one?
I just swiped one off the
I have
counter.
a number.
Oh, I haven't said, hold on.
Tom can never retire. He's the only one allowed to use the iPad for the rest of them in here.
What's the date? Everybody started banging on the iPad.
Yeah.
All right, welcome everybody. Just a little housekeeping here. We called the meeting to order at 6:05 this evening. We had the Pledge of Allegiance and the roll call. You may notice Ms. Anthon is excused for the evening. We immediately adjourned into executive session at 6:06 for matters relating to current litigation, and we adjourned executive session at 6:44 and no action was taken. Okay, so that leads us to the approval of the agenda. So may I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, minutes from the previous meeting. Any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Okay, may I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Communications. Does anyone have any additional communications to share? Unfinished business, we have none, so that leads us to our superintendent's report. Dr. Janestri, you are up.
Thank you, Mr. Belanti. A couple updates for the board tonight. First, we wanted to start with the district safety plan and DSHA's law that had to be by law put into our safety plan. And Mr. Feldman would like to update the board on where we are with DSHA's law.
Could you just do the next slide, Dr. Janestri?
I can.
So DSHA's law, thanks for having me, first of all, to provide a little bit of an update to a proposed amendment for our district-wide safety plan surrounding DSHA's law. And DSHA's law was named in memory of a Western New York student who died from sudden cardiac arrest at school. And this basically, this purpose of this law is to ensure that every public school district in New York State going forward has a cardiac emergency response plan, otherwise known as a CERP. The law was signed into effect in July of 2025 by Governor Kathy Hochul in partnership with advocates like Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills. So right now, there are laws on the books regarding AED and sudden cardiac arrest that school districts do adhere to, including New York State. The first was enacted in 2022, and it was the public access defibrillator law that requires all school districts to provide AEDs and training on their uses in the building. And the second is in 2022, the Dominic Murray Sudden Cardiac Arrest Prevention Act that requires schools to screen athletes prior to participation in sports and train athletic staff on signs and symptoms of sudden cardiac arrest, both of which Sweet Home do presently. So for AEDs currently, the district is required to provide sufficient number of AED units. The district currently has 25 units district-wide, 23 that are in the buildings, and then 2 mobile units that our athletic staff does use for sporting contests. The AEDs must be clearly marked and accessible in all the buildings, and the AEDs must be maintained per manufacturer and health standards. Our nurses do a great job in the buildings. They do daily AED checks to make sure that the battery is working and that things are maintained. And then they alert me as to when batteries might be going dead or pads might be expired and things along those lines. So our nursing staff does a tremendous job in all of the buildings to make sure, along with Marcy Gerlach, our athletic trainer, to make sure that we are up to date and in working order for all of those vital pieces of equipment.
Mr. Feldman, do all of them then, if you take them off, then connect to 911?
So all of them that are housed in the building, right? They're housed in the building in a cabinet in the wall. They sit on a plunger inside that cabinet. So as soon as that door is opened and that case is removed, it depresses the plunger and that automatically dials 911.
Is that ever checked, or do we just
Yep.
assume
Yeah,
that's
so
part
we
of
do,
the?
so when we do monthly checks of that area such that when it does, we have to take them offline to test it, but yes, they are tested regularly, yes. Requirements for training and education that we presently do, CPR, AED training must go through an approved and accredited organization such as the Red Cross or the American Heart Association. We do the American Heart Association here in district through Erie One BOCES. And at least one staff member shall be trained on CPR and AEDs and be present at all approved school activities, including school events, extracurricular activities, and interscholastic sports. Again, Sweet Home is, 100 years ago for some that were around, Bev Shipe really led the
Bev Shipe,
charge for this for our district. And I am proud to say that we are in compliance with all of those items up above. So for DSHA's law, what it does require us to do going forward, that we do need to require a cardiac emergency response plan, that it must be included in both of our district-wide school safety plan, as well as our building level emergency response plan. And each of those plans are vetted through the district safety committee, as well at the building. So those are reviewed annually. And then we are required to do annual training on signs and symptoms of cardiac arrest. And it must be provided to all staff and all students going forward. We would need to incorporate this likely into some faculty meetings going forward. But all of our secondary students do, as part of their PE curriculum, hands-only CPR, where they are trained on CPR as well as the use of AEDs. So this is a sample of the cardiac emergency response plan that is a template that was given to us from Erie One BOCES through the New York State Education Department that basically outlines all of the roles and responsibilities during a sudden cardiac emergency response, as well as lists all of the folks that are trained on the AEDs and the locations of the AEDs. So that would be something that we would implement into our district-wide safety plan, as well as into our building emergency response team plans. So those would be reviewed every year annually at the building level, filled out and then submitted with both of those plans going forward. So one of the requirements of DSHA's law now is that we have to have a 30-day public comment period on the addendum, the addition of the cardiac emergency response plan. So I will work with Ms. Lyle tomorrow to place our template on our district website and ask for comments for 30 days between December 16th of 2025 and January 16th of 2026. Folks can submit comments to me directly. My email address is there. It'll also be listed on the district website. And once we go through the comment period, I'll be back in January to share with you any comments that we have from that end of it, and then ask you to approve the amendment so that we can add that to our district-wide safety plan, as well as our building emergency response team plans going forward and in place for the 26-27 school year. So I don't know if anybody has any questions at this point in time. Yes.
Go ahead, Scott.
Beyond the paperwork to get the plan up to date, is there anything else we need to do at this point?
I'm sorry, say again.
Beyond the paperwork that you need to do to update this plan, putting this stuff into the plan, is there anything else?
So the only thing that we might have to look at is to give, there is information that we've gotten through Erie One BOCES Safety Risk and our partnership with them to be able to provide some sort of a training for our staff on the symptoms of cardiac arrest. So we would utilize likely faculty meetings to do that going forward. But beyond that, I feel pretty strongly that we are in compliance with the law as written.
Thank you.
The building level emergency response plans, those are they individualized for each building?
That's correct.
So it's
That's
not just
correct.
one generic.
No, and they list all of the members of the building emergency response team, including the administrator, the nurses, and their
Okay.
roles in that process.
Is there a difference in the response plans from elementary to high school because of the age of the children, the students?
No, it's not necessary. It's just basically who's on that team and their roles from that standpoint and that kind of thing, but not significant differences, no.
Thank you.
Sure.
When subs come in, are they made aware where the AEDs are, or do they not really?
It's a good question. I can't speak to that. I would think that, in an emergency that there is somebody in the building that would know that, but it's a good thought that we can talk with our building principals going forward.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Genestri.
Thank you, Mr. Feldman. Then, Dr. Wilson, I don't know if you want to make a pitch for our survey for the strategic plan and an extension.
So we're looking for voices again on our strategic plan. We have a survey that is out there. It's actually pinned on our website, thanks to Ms. Lyle. And on Wednesday, it will show up as one of those pop-ups so that every time anybody goes to our website, they will have access to it or be directed to it. Our students have already started participating in the survey. I was checking the numbers today. That's our biggest group so far. By the end of the week, we will have had every school participate. Each principal submitted a plan for when they would do it, and making sure that all students had access to give us feedback. It's very short. It's 3 quick questions. And we have it built into our staff meetings, and any opportunity we have to have committee meetings or any groups like this. And so that QR code will take you to it, and you will be able to provide feedback that will help us with our strategic plan for 26 through 29.
I'll make sure to get it out in my Thursday memo to staff and the Friday memo to families as well. Okay. Then tomorrow is really a truly historic day for Sweet Home. We're asking our voters to come to the polls tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m. They can vote anywhere between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. on our $90.5 million proposed capital project. That's broken down into 2 propositions. Proposition 1 is 55.2 million and includes the additions at Glendale, Heritage, and Maplemere, as well as priority maintenance items, and renovations to libraries and playgrounds in those schools and so much more, parking lots, et cetera. Proposition 2 is $35.3 million and includes renovations to every existing elementary classroom in Sweet Home, flooring, lighting, walls, et cetera. It would also include gym upgrades at all of our elementary schools, corridor improvements and turf replacement and athletic facility improvements, including turfing the existing baseball and softball fields and providing a ticket booth out there. Proposition 2 does come with a tax impact of $64 per average $250,000 home. And I've included a link here, but everybody I'm sure knows by now that you can go to our website for more information on the project. And then we are asking our community to vote. We realize it is a December vote. There is a reason for that. It's due to when our debt falls off of our books, and then we could replace that this project with that debt, and make sure that Proposition 1 stays tax neutral and Proposition 2 is as low of a tax impact as possible on our taxpayers. So I sent a message out tonight via text, email, and phone, and it's very vital that our community comes and expresses their voice and votes tomorrow from 7 a.m. To 9 p.m. I did include the video. I don't know, I'm sure everybody has seen it, but I don't know if you want me to play it tonight or but go to our website. It's right on there too. It discusses the needs that we have and why this project is so impactful, historic, and transformational for Sweet Home. So tomorrow, 7 a.m. 9 p.m. right here in this room, just like you would vote for the budget and for board members. The process is relatively the same. You will see a ballot with 2 propositions on it, and all you have to do is check yes or no on each of those propositions. So come vote. That's the most important thing.
I would just like to say that thank you to everybody involved in getting the word out. Nobody can accuse us of not trying to, it has been everywhere. Every time I look at the mail, it's just been everywhere. So kudos on getting the word out, because this was and we started early. You started early so that people could ask questions, and you had the forums, and I think there was no form of communication you didn't make use of. So
Yeah.
good job. Good job.
Even the Amherst Bee did an article or interviewed me for an article on it. And so we hit that media as well. And yeah, we're pretty proud of the months-long effort to get the word out there. And hopefully it turns into a good turnout tomorrow. But it really is historic for Sweet Home. A lot of things are much needed in this project. And, we hope for good result, but we hope for a good turnout as well.
Do people have to bring anything with them when they come?
They have to do proof of residency. So as long as you live in the district or above 18 years old, you can vote.
The things I think it's important to know, and we've talked about it, especially at the town hall meetings, is there's a lot of things in Proposition 1 that if, God forbid, that the thing should fail, they still have to get done. We have an $11 million roof that has to go on the middle school. You can't keep the school open if there's leaking all over the place. We have boilers in Glendale, if I remember right, maybe another school too.
Heritage Heights as
Heritage,
well.
Yeah.
okay, and Heritage Heights. We have to heat our building. We got HVAC stuff that's been done. So these things, like I said, if God forbid it fails, they all still have to get done. We just have to find another way to do it. So I think it's important that people understand there's a lot of very important stuff going on in this project.
Yes. Thank you for saying that, because this is why we do it this way. This is why we ask for a vote. It's to maximize the amount of state aid we can get on these projects. And about 85% of this project is state aidable, and that state aid rate is 63 cents on a dollar. So every dollar we spend on aidable projects, we get 63 cents back from the state. And that's why we do it this way. And to Mr. Johnson's point, I can't emphasize enough, the maintenance items in Proposition 1 are critical for the function of the buildings, and they are at end of life and must be replaced. And so that's why we structured it this way, but we must also consider the financial implications and get every dollar of state aid that we can in this project. So we're excited. We're looking forward to tomorrow, looking forward to the results. We got a meeting on Wednesday. with our team, and we're ready to go. Ready to go.
And Prop 1 is tax neutral.
Tax neutral. Neutral, yes. I had this up last week, but the concert season, I think there's one every night this week, including going on right now, at the, Amherst Baptist Church. Although I did see something, I didn't read the email. I don't know if the weather held us back, but, that one's tonight. And then the, sixth grade, band and seventh grade band are at the middle school tomorrow. Heritage Heights Winter Concert. It's always a treat. And I got the invitation from Mrs. Zaylor today for December 17th. And then the eighth grade chorus concert at the middle school is on the 18th. And then just want to say this is our last week before the 2-week break for the holidays. Christmas, New Year's are in there. No classes December 22nd through January 2nd. We do resume classes on January 5th. The offices are open on the dates that are listed here, but just want to say, wow, I can't believe, first of all, that we're already at the December break. And it's been a great start to the school year. We hope everybody enjoys the holidays with families and friends. We know, however, it is a tough time for many of our families as well. And we have supports in place for them. I know Chef is doing a tremendous amount of work and jobs and connecting with families. So kudos to them. But just really want to say, wishing everybody a very, very happy holiday season. That's what I have for tonight.
Okay, any questions? All right, moving on. Upcoming events, Dr. Genestri hit a lot of the music concerts and the voting tomorrow. We do have, Maplemere has their holiday gift shopping this week. And Glendale has their Winter Wonderland event. And then we do come back in January. We have a chef meeting and a couple more concerts, and then right back to PTSA and PTO meetings. All right, at this time, we are going to move to open session number 1 on agenda topics. And per board policy 1510, this open session is for topics related to tonight's agenda. Is anyone interested in speaking? Okay, seeing no takers, we will move on to new business. May I have a motion and a second for agenda items A through H?
So move.
Second.
Okay, just real quick, we have special ed, class placements and preschool placements, our monthly financial reports, the comprehensive school counseling plan, which we had a presentation last week, the request for proposal on driver's education with Hoffman's Driving Academy, the HELPS program resolution, the acceptance of donations for our tech, not our tech program, our multimedia program, our transportation bids, and is there a settlement agreement?
Where's H?
H. Superintendent to enter into settlement with Shea, an employee. Oh, yes, carry out the terms of agreement. That was our discussion earlier, Mr.
He just
Rambo.
doesn't have it on the one he's looking at.
Oh,
Did they update that overnight or something? It's online, on the online one.
So,
That was updated this morning.
Okay.
oh yeah, that's what we talked, yeah.
yeah, it is updated on the link, current link.
What is H? Just read it.
It is the settlement agreement, with the Shea and employee 02195 to carry out the terms of its agreement.
Yeah.
All right, so all in favor of new business, oh,
Just
sorry,
one
Mary
Real
Ann?
quick, class placements, light schedule this week, 41 pages, but I did have a general question. They mentioned the Bloom, is that what is that?
The what?
Bloom, I didn't know if it was a
Bloom's taxonomy?
school or.
Oh, Bloom's
what is that?
taxonomy. It's pedagogy, teaching pedagogy. Bloom is a author who is, it's been a long time going back to my
Yeah, it
teaching
goes
days.
through all of the levels of teaching, basically.
Your objectives, your goals for the lesson objectives, the strategy that you're using, the actual plan, the lesson plan.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then
Okay.
what you hope to achieve and was it achieved, at the end of the
I
lesson?
hadn't, I thought it was a building or something. I
Yes.
didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yep. Taxonomy.
Thank you.
That brought me back 23 years.
Okay, all in favor of new business?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, moving on to informational items. Mr. Coleman, would you like to lead us off?
Yes.
Thank you.
During our past meetings that occurred toward the end of November and beginning of December, we have discussed more long-term plans we hope to achieve for the school year. We discussed our plans and ideas for a winter pep rally and the different games we want to have during then. We came together and finalized our Spirit Week occurring this week, which leads up to winter break. As December comes to an end, student government continues to work towards our goals. At our meeting tomorrow, we plan to have Dr. Lucci in attendance to help move forward with our plans to execute mental health or therapy sessions provided for our students here at Sweet Home. Our chair of the athletics committee, Sophia Guadagna, and Vice President Summer Mack brought their ideas together for this and are trying to provide sessions for our athletes monthly. Summer and I also discussed with Mr. Licenti about some key finalization points for senior tiles, although it will be pushed back as we wait for approval. We are also closely working with the Music and Arts Committee on this by putting together a flyer. Last week, the Technology Committee and I as well met with Mr. Liu and Mr. Simondera to conversate on tech-related goals they'd like to see happen throughout the year. I also put together a digital suggestion box Mr. Simondera is helping with. I'd like to add this throughout the school and on the morning show where students can fill out the form and add suggestions they'd like to see student government try and bring to life. The Food and Nutrition Committee touched base on some more food-related changes they'd like to make in the cafeteria. And lastly, the Academics and DEI Committee are working to provide feminine hygiene products to bathrooms.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Mrs. Jason.
Nothing, I've been on vacation, but I did have a request. Now that we've had a few months to see how our electric buses are, could we just have a quick report maybe next
Sure.
month on how we're doing with usage and batteries and all that kind of stuff, just so we can, for public consumption, just how we're doing with.
Yeah, especially
stuff like that.
during the cold. We
Yes,
did have
yes.
an incident a couple
Right,
weeks ago. And so, yeah, we can do that next.
Thank you.
No problem.
This is Jason, just for your own edification. We are going to get 3 more electric buses on Wednesday.
Nice.
They're due to be delivered. That's 3 of the 4 that our public voted to
Right.
allow us to purchase back in May.
So do they like come on a flatbed or something?
No, they
Like,
drive.
They drive them here?
Yeah, yeah, they drive.
So they're all juiced up by the. when they
They're all
get here?
juiced up and
Okay.
ready to go.
Good.
And we will see them on the road with the.
They have to go through some DOT inspections and things like that. We actually met today with Wendell on submitting the next round of our chargers to SED. So we're working through that. But what we'll do is we'll kind of juggle the 3 chargers that we have. We'll juggle buses and when they can charge. But we are working through the next round of chargers as well. So.
Thank you. Thanks.
Mr. Johnson.
Awesome. I'm not going to read it all. Most of you may not have seen it because I sent it over to Fallon about 4 or 5 hours ago. But I caught, since I didn't do one in November, it takes all the way back to October. I've got a couple pages worth of stuff. Just in particular, I want to talk about I went to the convention, obviously, with Dr. Tenestri, Dr. Wilson, Mr. Ravenel, and we learned quite a bit, and Mr. Feldman, should be. I'm rolling down my own list here. They were quite interesting as we went along. Some different things that I went to. One of them, we had people from Vestal Central School District that's down around Binghamton. They did something, they called it, they were building toward biliteracy, and they did the Junior Seal of Biliteracy program. So they're actually working on it with their middle school and elementary schools. Dr. Wilson was in there too. And yeah, with the one for the high school level, you get a seal on your diploma. For them, they were actually handing these out, and I'll share them around. They were giving some out so we could see what they were.
That's great that they gave them out.
Yeah, so that's each of them. Yeah, so we could see what it was too, but this is what the kids get if they do it. listening to the program, I thought it was fascinating. And it was, I mean, obviously a lot of it was going to be the ELL students, but it was also kids who learned another language wherever they learned it, whether it's their home environment, even if they weren't ELL students or something else, and just that process. So it was, and they had to put together a whole program very similar to what they would have gotten at the high school level. You know, might not have been quite as detailed, but while we were there, one of the people doing the presentation, her son, also spoke French because his father was from Morocco, if I remember correctly. So they were talking about what he did, and he actually stood up and made part of the presentation too. To me, I think it was a great idea. It might be something that's worth taking a look into for us. I have a contacted Vestal. They did say they would be willing to meet with us and talk with us about it if we decide to go down that road. Obviously, it's not something we want to make a decision on immediately, but it's something I think it's worth spending the time to look into, especially when you consider, you know, the number of different languages that our population or in Sweet Home speaks. Couple more, sat through a collective bargaining update, which in all my years of NISBA conventions is the worst session I've ever been to. We had two folks making the presentation who were telling us stories from way back in time about the issues they have with collective bargaining and never really got to the point of the session. So that's just, they had an agenda that, and pages to go through, and I think, and you can keep those if you want, Mike. I think they got maybe a third of the way through their actual agenda. Next one, I mean, I listed these in order. The next one is an electric bus pilot program implementation at Sweet Home. Put on by our own Mr. Feldman and John from Wendell. Actually, I think it went a lot better than the last time you guys did.
That's an understatement. It went way better than the
I think
last.
we only had a few people in the audience this time who were dead set against the electric buses. The rest of them actually were genuinely interested in what we were doing and how it was getting done. You know, and that we were having some success with it, understanding the electrification plan and all the other things we needed to do. So I thought that went very well. And I also sat in on our neighbors to the west, over at Kenton. They had a student board representative, more than just a Madnate, and they put it on. It was their superintendent, Sabatino Samato, and their board president, Matt Shamara. They put on a presentation too. I mean, were you in there with me? I don't remember.
I was for a little while, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, they put it on. They do it a little bit different. They've got two high schools, obviously, so they had somebody from each high school. They also had their rep picked out in August, at the beginning of August. So they had time to put together a program with the students, so they understood it. They asked them to do very specific things. So it was kind of an interesting program. I can get some more details on that. The rest of the sessions, I mentioned quite a few have been here, which I thought everything was really good. A number of meetings they went through. A handful of us attended the Foreign Language Honor Society. It was Spanish, French, and German all together. I had the ECASP Legislative Dessert Forum. We had several of West New York legislators there. And our open forum that we talked about last week. And there's a whole bunch more, but that covers enough. You can just see the rest. If you got any questions when you see the list, like I said, I just had to put up a few hours ago. So if you got any questions, holler.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Mrs. Pataglia,
I have nothing, no updates.
Mr. Ribinold.
Again, it's been a while, but I think I spoke a little bit about the one presentation the first day about dignity. I think, again, that was, I thought, very meaningful. Just a way, I think people today should maybe provide a little bit of something to the person they're talking to or about, or just respect them to the point where you try to understand point of view. I thought that was great. The electric bus presentation, I was probably the only heckler in the audience. I did like the final statement from Wendell, I believe, and that, you know, all of the above is probably where we end up. And again, I think that's my view of this from the beginning. It's an unworkable scenario for many school districts across the state. And the same thing they've done recently with electrification of buildings. How do you, I mean, it's just unworkable in my mind. Whether you're an environmentalist or a climate czar or whatever you want to call yourself, you got to deal with the reality of today. And so I think they're going to get there. It just may take a lot of pushback from school districts and folks to get at least a pause and maybe a longer runway to get this stuff done. I don't think anybody's opposed to clean environment, but you got to be realistic. You got to use a little common sense in this. So again, I didn't have anything wrong with the presentation. I thought, again, you did a terrific job. I I just really wanted to hear from somebody up there, which we did, Wendell, that in reality, it probably will be all of the above. You know, diesel, I guess at some point. What kind of car do you drive? Hybrid?
Hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid. I think hybrid makes sense. So anyways, Heritage Heights had their meeting at the beginning of the month, and they talked a lot about the Merry Moose. They talked a lot about trying to get more membership, which I guess is a bit of a struggle. And did also talk about the building project. They're excited about that. And I don't know what else we did. What else did we talk about there? I'm sorry, I'm not quite organized tonight. I did bring up the notion that one of our elected officials would try to promote the idea of a turning lane in front of Heritage Heights and also a sidewalk. I guess that's not going anywhere. I don't know if you've heard anything from anybody on that. They keep asking me about that. I'll keep pushing on my side if I can. And I did want to also talk about a little bit about the portrait of graduate. There was a notice we posted online that the board approved this back in July. I don't see anything in our notes that was approved by us. So is this talking about the strategic plan from 23 to 25 or?
I don't know what that is, so
Yeah. Board of Education discusses New York State portrait of a graduate. Christine put it out, said we voted on it back in July. I did not vote for it. Again, I still have my concerns about it, but again, that's all I have.
Anything else, Mr. Rubin?
No, that's good.
Okay, your Bible.
Yeah, the middle school PTSA, they did not have a December meeting, so I didn't have that to attend. But I did attend the band concert for the Gold Band in 8th grade on December 3rd, and both did a great job. And you can see the improvement made over from the various grade levels, even though, you know, the younger students are doing a great job for their age and where they're at. And then Willow Ridge, I attended it was Willow Ridge and Maple Mere. They had a chorus concert on December 10th. Now, traditionally, they will sing The Best Day is the Day Off of School. It's a song about a day off of school. And they've had, in the past 3 years, they've had the next day off. They did not sing that song this year, and they did not have
See? Just
snow
don't
day
sing
the
it
next
today.
day. Snow day is the best day, right? So I think they'll be returning to that song next year. But I also wanted to mention I did attend the for my kids, I attended parent-teacher conference, both in the middle school a few weeks ago and then for the grade school last Friday. I was happy to talk to a few teachers there, and two things that stood out. One is the one of the teachers was talking about the new phonics program that they've implemented this year, which is part of the improvements in curriculum that we're making, and they've said it's been really well received, and the teacher felt doing a great job for the kids. So that's nice to see that all these improvements in curriculum. I know we've done in math and science and whatnot, that you're getting feedback as a parent of the positive results. And then also they had mentioned what they're seeing is that with the pre-K, how the kindergarten kids are coming in, they felt even more prepared and ready, not just from a academic perspective, but more than anything from a social, emotional perspective. They're used to the school, they're comfortable coming in. So again, these are things, you make these decisions 2 or 3 years ago, but it's nice to see, the feedback and the results of those programs and, what we're doing. The only other thing I would mention that I still find a little bit of a confusion on, and I think some other parents may at times, and I don't know if this is something we can change, but on the report cards, a 3 versus a 4. So like I have had some, in my own personal experience, some teachers, it seems that a 4 comes down the road after a couple of semesters, you work towards a 4, let's say, and others that are given a 4, in the very first semester. So I just think maybe that's something we can, because I think even as parents, you may have a kid in a subject getting like really good grades and they get a 3, and then you're like, okay, is it because it's the first semester? Or is it because it's, the criteria are different, but just maybe even on that report, if that can just be delineated a little more as to what is a 4 versus, because I think 4 is like exceeds expected, but it's like, is it exceed for the year or exceed for that period? That's it from my end.
Okay. Last week I attended the town hall at the middle school, and then a retirement get together for Mr. Rossler. That's pretty much all I've got. Willow Ridge did not have a PTA meeting in December, so we have ours. I think it's January 8th.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, the Board of Regents approved this in July, not Sweet Homes Board.
Board of Education.
Not the Board of Education. So this was approved in Albany in July by the Board of Regents, but your first presentation on this was last week.
Yeah,
So we haven't talked about it at
that's
all.
what I
So,
was, okay.
yeah, just wanted to make,
Very close enough. Thank you.
no worries.
Okay, moving on to open session number 2. Does anyone like to address the board? Okay, Jonathan, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name, address, and your relationship to Sweet Home.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Makeley. Live at 5 Durham Drive. I'm a community member. I figured I would give some thoughts in regards to the upcoming vote for the capital project. In the the first proposal for the capital project, you have much of that focusing on important upcoming repairs and renovations that need to be done to address things that are nearing their end of usefulness. And for that, I figured I'd bring up a personal anecdote. How for much of my time growing up, my father was a management and rate maintenance for the trailer park I grew up in, and from that, seeing how he worked, I've come to see the importance of having proper funding and proactiveness for maintenance and repair and improvements in order to have buildings have a good quality for people to be in. And furthermore, when what can happen when there isn't appropriate funding or repairs get shirked, you can end up with situations where these problems end up not being properly addressed. They get worse over time, and you end up having to spend even more money to fix a problem that you could have gotten fixed earlier with less money, and at a time where it's even more inconvenient for the people who will be affected by it. After all, it'd be best to, for instance, get a roof on a building fixed before it breaks and you have rain coming down on students, or get the heat systems working properly before it's in the middle of the cold of winter. That's pretty much pragmatic to get those things done when it's more opportune to do so. And with the vote coming tomorrow, I would encourage people to go out and cast their votes on the matter. Good day.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anybody else? Okay, moving on to personnel. May I have a motion and a second on personnel items 1, teaching and administrative, and 2, service?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that leads us to, I think, That's it. I just want to, on behalf of the board, with the start of our holiday season, the board would like to wish our entire community a happy and safe holiday season, a happy new year. And we will see you guys in 2026, right?
See you next year.
Yeah, see you next year. Finally can say that. So with that, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.